Krisha Agarwal, and I'm in conversation with Kavitha Gowda. She is a senior manager at Microsoft, and she's traveled all over the world working in the field of business and technology and always looking for an opportunity to grow. She has multiple awards under her belt, including the MVP Award and the Product Excellence Award. Kavitha is an established product and technology leader in the corporate world. Welcome, Kavitha. Thank you so
Hey,
much for coming here and telling your story.
thanks, Priya. Thanks for considering me for the story.
How did you know that this was the place for you to be? This was the field that you wanted to be? Did you have a vision for yourself, or was it like more of a gradual process?
No, it was a vision. It was gradual process of vision, basically. So I was an engineer and I came here being an engineer. I enjoyed coding. I love coding because you just get lost in the world of code. And the funny thing about coding is that's so gratifying, man. It's like you write something and then you see an output. It feels so happy because, it's like you input something and then you see an output. You're like, why would you be happy, right? Exactly. You're like, wow. And then you don't have to interact with many. You just do your piece and then do it.
Yeah.
And that is what about coding I loved about it. It's just like, it's so gratifying. You feel an instant happiness and all of that was great. Again, while coming to US, when I came to US, and see, again, India economy is different and US economy is different. You should understand that. India is mostly like a part of the work of a US comes, right? Or it's a servicing company.
Yeah.
And in US, you have a complete business segment, and then engineers are just been told this piece is what you need to just throw at you, and you work through that. And then I started seeing that many of the decisions made by business was not good for the customers. Every time I always saw my requirements in the lens of a customer, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. What are you guys talking about? And then many times I could not. I only work with this piece. You did not understand the whole business of it. And I always strive to do that. And whenever I tried to do that, I saw there were big flaws in the way they were thinking, because many people didn't even work with customers to even come up with these requirements. They were like, oh, this will give so much of dollar value. So that kind of made me feel like, and then I started venturing out into becoming more of that customer person. And then I started giving ideas to my product, and wherever it was adopted, it became very successful. Then that is when I started feeling that I think I should get onto the business side of this, and because it's you have much more flexibility than a developer to think something innovative and to get that implemented. As a developer, I can only be innovative in this particular thing that been told in that particular code, but I cannot be innovative completely to the product. So, or to drive some business or to get some value. So that's where I was like, I need to do that, and what it was. So I went on a search for it, and then product management was one of them that kind of aligned with that search and that happiness that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. And how about engineering? How did you decide that you wanted to be an engineer?
I think it was multiple different things. If it was nothing related to passion, as I said, I didn't know what computers was. It was just that computer science, if you did a computer science engineering, you would get good jobs in India at that time. And I think even it holds true now. And that time was again in 2000s. And what else? Yeah. And then also it paid well. It paid really well in India. And then it gave you an opportunity to go see the world. So I wanted a job that would stabilize me super fast. That means I can get out of the college and then I can start earning pretty good salary so that I can take care of me and my family. At the end, when I finished my engineering, I didn't have to take care of my family because my dad's startup had become very successful. When I started engineering, we were still in a financial turmoil. And then I wanted a degree where it would give me that stability super fast, and was innovative degree, right? I didn't want to get into anything that's not innovative, but innovative and also get paid good money, and and I can stabilize me and my family. But by the time I got out of it, my dad had already been very successful in his career and his startup. So then I'm like, oh, good, I have all this money now. I can go and spend. I can.
But now you're passionate about it. You were talking to me about how much you love coding, right?
Yeah, I think that was an acquired. Once I got into engineering, I loved it. I loved coding. I loved writing algorithms. I loved it, and I think it's just that the effect you get, right? You get immediate output, and then you feel so happy about it. So I was very, 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 what do you say? And I was a happily coder. It was like I chose this without knowing it, and then once I went into it, it was like a happy coder. And I knew some of my friends didn't want to do it. They're just doing it for money or other things. I was like, yeah, I love this. I just I can do this without any money too. So that's what happened.
That's perfect. So, I mean, what motivates you to keep going, and what like inspires you?
I think I'm a feminist. Very, very truly, I'm a feminist because of the background I came to, right? And it's just that always I just want to prove something as a woman. I want to show that that women can do anything that she likes to do, and and I want to innovate something. So this dream has come reality now. The dream I dreamt is a reality today. So which many people don't get it, and I got it, and I got it through a lot of struggle. It was not an easy path at all for me in any ways. So everything came up with a huge challenge. I had to get through that challenges and stuff like that. So that itself makes me like, I'm here. This is the dream I wanted, and I am in the dream. So why not work hard in it, and why not I keep going with it? And then second thing is also that I just want to prove. And I know I've always taken an unusual path in life, again, because as I said, I've gradually graduated in life. I got married at a very young age. I got kid at a very young age. Many people wait for their career to get established, and many people have this huge goals. Like for me, getting engineering was a big deal when I was young, because no one else around me was an engineer. No one else went to college, and I think I'm in college, any the professional colleges, and then no one went to US when I was in my family, and I was the first one to do it. Like that itself was huge goals for me. And then I gradually upgraded my goals. Basically, I started dreaming big every time, and so that is and that as kind of today, there are many girls in India or in my family. They've been, not only girls, the men, boys also, have been given my example every time in a day, 1,000 times, so that to a matter that they hate me. They're like, why does she freaking exist? And every day we had to listen to her stories, and we had to climb up to her level. So they hate me, many of them, but still. So they've been given my example because and also, as I said, I did not I dreamt even after being married. I dreamt even after having a kid. I thought having a kid is not my final word, right? I can go, and I did my MBA after my kid, right? So and I changed my career, everything after kids. So I was very unusual. I didn't do everything planned and things like that, and then went and married her, had kids. Usually the contrary to what people do usually. So I think that is inspiring to many people. So and I just want to continue that inspiration. I want to be that inspiration person who nothing stops. If you have a dream, if you want to achieve something, nothing stops you. You can do it with everything that you have in life. It just takes time sometimes. It takes some patience, but it happens. It is just that you should have that dream. That's very important.
Yeah.
That drives me at this point.
Okay. So, um, you just told me, like, you make sure that you balance all of the things in your life, personal and professional. So, but like, how do you manage to do that? Is there a specific thing that you do, or do you have something in mind that you always keep, like, oh, this much is family time, this much is work time, or is it just natural?
No, it's not natural. It's a lot of struggle within yourself when it comes to all of this, right? For me, as I said, I became a mother at a very young age. So initially, the kids are very demanding because they're very young. They have to feed them, and human kids come out very early. Even human kids are not useless at the end of the day. You have to make useful of them. It takes quite a long time. So initially it is like you have no, you have to, the nature makes you dedicate that time, even if you don't want to. But gradually as they grow up, as they become 5 years old and greater, then you have to start making that like life where work versus thing. And I kind of initially I kind of gave back my career because initially kids are very demanding. I had no help, so I did it. Like obviously my husband is a help, but other than that, so but now I have to make a conscious effort as which one, how much work and how much thing. I wish I'm a person, as I said, like, if you know a coder will love to get lost in their work and doesn't know if the sun is setting or sun is rising, or that kind of a deal. I'm that kind of a person where I want to get into my work and I work until I achieve something in there and then get up and go. But as a mother, that's not possible. You're interpreted quite often, and then you have a thing to do. You're like, how much ever you want to do that freaking thing, at 6 you have to get up and go pick him up from the school or from daycare. So you have to make a very conscious effort, and it's harder. It's not very easy. And then even during the time when you're not working, there's many times you don't even get time to yourself. You want, because at that time your kids' time start, where you have to spend time with them, you have to teach them, you have to make something of them. So it's a lot of battle. It's a lot of battle within me, and I kind of, but irrespectively what I've seen at the end, even though the battle is within me, no one knows that the battle happens. And at the end of the day, I do know that I have kind of equally divided my life between family and work.
And what about when you travel, when you go to places for work?
Yeah, I think the important thing is that I have a very, very good supporting husband. I think it's your life partner is very important, your husband or your boyfriend or whoever that is, right? You need to have a good partner to understand you. And I think for me, I could do everything. So I think many people can't do so many things after marriage or after kids. It's because their partners are not very supportive, or they are not able to take the burden of the family by themselves. And again, there's some cliches that Indian men are very thing, and that's true. Majority I've seen that true, but again, me being very feminist from young age helped me. because, even at even at age 10, if you'd asked me what kind of husband you want, I would tell the exact the same thing that I have now, because I was very particular. Yes,
like fully like matured at a very young age then.
Yeah, I think I saw very strong. My mom was a very, very talented athlete. She was she was getting prepared for Olympics and all of that when she was 18. But she got married and everything slapped. She didn't do any of those, and she just changed. And it's her choice too. She didn't want it. She was like, yeah, I was happily, I was fine. I'm like, how could you happily give up Olympics? How do you do such things? But she's like, no, that's fine. I changed. And then I see her being a very strong woman, and she could be very ambitious, and she has a lot of potential, but she didn't realize her potential because she was a woman. She had a lot to do. And I think, and then I had many stronger women around me. My grandmother being like, though they were within the boundaries of society, they were very strong, and they were trying to push the boundaries of the society. And for me, I wanted to get out of that boundary, and hence I became feminist very young age. And I was like, no man is going to tell me what I'm supposed to do. And, exactly. So that I had that vision even at a very young age. So, and hence I only looked for men, and I didn't go through arranged marriage in India, because you have to figure out whether he's going to be a good feminist or not, right? So, and obviously I married my college classmate because I saw him being, empowering other girls. I saw him being, respectful for women. I saw him do all of that. So, and I think that helped me. And I was like, okay, he's the right guy. so, so I think that helped. So he always helped me. And so when I'm always traveling, or even when I went to college, he took all the burden of the kid happily. He never complained. He never said, oh, I'm doing all of this for you, or you do this back to me. Nothing of that sorts. So I think that helps a lot. I think choose a life partner correctly is important.
So
it is not right, get out of it very immediately, don't stay and waste your time.
So I know you've had so many accomplishments that you just like in the time that we talked, you talked about, but what would you say is your biggest accomplishment in your mind that you've had?
I think everyone feels that you have to do, you've never accomplished anything, right? I think you always feel that you have not done anything. You want to go do more. But again, as an accomplishment, is that it's a child that I was, in India, in Bangalore, having no idea that even I could go to college, because again, girls are not sent to college. So there were things that I have to say, is that if girls didn't study extremely well, they were to be married sooner, right? They were like, well, what will you do keeping them around, kind of an idea. And girls always belong to somebody's family. That was the idea. And that, if you are a little, like, in India, if you're, girls, if you look a little prettier, you are easy to get married to, like, people like you or whatever, they want always the prettiest wives. So you are always, they'll get you out very soon. So that was going against me. And I was young, right? So it's like a tiny little bit prettier, and things like that. So I was always afraid they'll get me married away, and I'll never get to educate and never get to become independent. I never wanted to be somebody else's wife and get to know and just listen to what they wanted from me and what the in-laws wanted from me. I was like, that was never a thing, right? So, and that means I wanted to liberate from poverty. I wanted to liberate from being being in that boundary, and without independence. So, but then the odds against me were too high. That means I had to, like, my dad didn't have any money to go get me a good private college or anything. So that means I had to study, and everything has to be first, and get a good seat by myself and all of that. So it was, every odds were against me, and I kind of gradually worked at odds at the very young age, and then I gradually come out of it. And then I thought engineering was the biggest deal. That's it, I have reached, if I go get the engineering degree and I get a job. And I did that, and then I realized that's not yet. There's much more. And then
Greatest accomplishment is to come then?
Sorry, what?
Your greatest accomplishment is to come? It's not.
No, I think it's the journey. I feel it's the journey.
Journey. Okay.
Yeah, it's, if you asked me, that girl at 5 year or 10 year old, right? If you asked me, would you ever be in America? Would we ever be working in Microsoft? Would we ever have done an MBA? I was like, what the hell? That cannot be possible. No way. It's never going to happen. It's never ever going to happen where I stood that time. Even at 18, if you ask me, I was like, are you kidding me? No, no, no way. And now I'm like, wow, that, that journey, like, I've reached that, I've gradually improved myself, and I kept improving myself, and then I've reached that journey. I've tried to dream bigger. I think journey is the accomplishment, and I still have more to do. So there's no one thing, it's just that journey is the piece.
Mm-hmm. And in this whole journey, has there ever been a decision that you've made that you regret now, or would you want to go back and change that if you did?
I think there's a lot I'll never regret. There's a lot of mistakes that you make as a human being. We as a kid and all of that, right? But it's just that, you just have to live with it and learn to move ahead of it. So I think I haven't done any deliberate mistakes, but then, like, I wish I knew more about different colleges when I was young. I don't know where I would have got that information, for God's sake, but still, I wish I kind of went and spoke to every different professor. I don't know what I would have done. But, as I said, there's no engineers in my family. I had no idea who to ask and stuff. And so I learned there's levels of engineering colleges too, right? And I think that did not change much. So maybe this was, if I knew, if I knew there was investment banking before or something, I would have gone to investment banking. I love maths too. So I would have gone that way, or I would have done something differently. So it was just that, or I could have, so I did not go to doctor. I had a doctor seat when I was going. So I don't know, in India, you guys know, it's just, you have an entrance exam you have to write, and then you come in the top few ranks, then you get a free seat into government colleges and stuff like that. And when free means, it's relatively very low fees. They'll have a very tiny low fees. Otherwise, you have to pay way higher. I had got those two in doctor, but I left being a doctor because even that low fees, my dad couldn't pay. And we had to go get a loan to pay that low fees. And to do that, I felt that, and doctors, again, you have to go, and you're not the doctor just after MBBS, right? After that 5 years, you have to go to MD and stuff like that. And I was afraid that my family will never support me in any of that, and they'll get me married after medicine, and I'll be again in the wrath of the in-laws or husband to fund me into doing other things, and I'm again not become independent. So that was my thing. And hence I didn't choose that job, and hence I didn't choose becoming a doctor. So maybe I would have been a good doctor, because I love people, I love caring, I love doing that. I would have enjoyed, and I think that's a profession also, that you can be a doctor until you die. And being a product manager, you cannot do that forever. After some time you're like, I want to do this. So I love what I do. So there were those things that I could have done. I could have braved myself and taken that loan. I don't know what you could have done, but it's okay. But I feel like I didn't do that. Good God brought me into this, because then I wouldn't have done all this. I wouldn't have traveled outside the country. I wouldn't have got all this exposure. I wouldn't have leading the businesses like this, which is even more like thrilling to some extent. So you will make mistakes, but again, if you if you make the best out of what you have, I think even the mistakes at the end will start looking like, good, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Or good, I did that mistake.
It's so different now, because like now the kids they have so many different options, of things that, let's say you like math, you like science, you have a bajillion different choices that you choose from. And so it's like so confusing for kids to be like, okay, maybe this is what I want. So it's very like, you just have to make a decision. And I love that you were like, you stuck with that. You were decisive.
I think it's harder for you guys as well. Like, I think it's it's two things. It's much easier for you in one way. It's like you have no struggles like us, like or like most of the immigrant kids that you see maybe from outside. You didn't have any struggle. All you have to do is just study or do this. But then you have so many choices. Then you're like, okay, fine. Like you don't have any parameter to restrict yourself. Like for me, the parameters were to be independent, to get money, to this, that. So that restricts you and gives you very few choices, and you pick. And for you guys, it's not. So that makes it harder. But again, I think, I would rather say is this, right? You will change your jobs. You will change your direction as you keep going old. So I changed from being an engineer and I entered into business, right? And so that's fine. I don't think so from now on we'll never have a job for life, unless until you're a doctor. Even doctors, I have doctor friends who changed. They were a general internal specialist, now they become gastro, like they change their fields too. So it's fine, just choose whatever you like at this point. And again, as an Asian, you're like, make sure that pays. Don't do anything that doesn't pay you, right? Because at the end, really, money, good stability money will really give you at least 50% of the happiness. You don't want to leave away that 50%. So do that, and then follow what you like. And then whatever, maybe after 10 years you want to change, change it. Who cares?
I feel like everybody wants to make, the right decisions throughout every single part of their life. They're just like, I don't want to have any regrets. And especially like kids at this time, they're like, oh, I want to choose the exact major or like something that I want to be in the future, so that I don't
You don't know at 18.
Exactly. Exactly.
I didn't know. I picked computer science, as I said, for different parameters. I had like nothing related to passion, but I loved it. I loved it, and I stick with it. And then I changed again, right? I'm like, okay, this is enough, because, but I think I have the other parts I feel like more, I love more. So you change. So don't think that you make a decision for life. Don't do that. Just make a decision for next 10 years. That's it. Like, in that 10 years, 4 years is college, or even MS, if you do another 6 years, it's gone, right? Just
Yeah.
do for the next 10 years or 5 years, and that's it. And I think that's the longevity today. But just pick on those careers or those ones that where you can layer upon it. I mean, like, where, so in many jobs there's no next level to
Mhm.
it. Where even if you want to change the flavors, you have to drastically change yourself. That's quite hard when you have to drastically change. So, but go to the field where you like, where you can, if you don't like this, I can take this experience and add on something and do something else, build on top of it. So just do that. And and no one is going to stay in the same, believe me, same kind of field or job after 5-10 years. It all changes. It's a journey, as I say. So don't pressurize yourself.
And what steps would you recommend to like young aspiring people who want to be successful in a field, or like maybe your field? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's so in our field there's engineering, and then there's this if you come into tech. So again, choose a field which you like, right? If you like finance field, choose a finance. If you like engineering or tech, choose tech field. And then what else is there, like, and if you medical field, then in a medical you have biomedical, and then you have medicine, and then there is obviously aeronautics, space. So choose the field that you like. That's it. And then once you choose the field, in that field, like, if you're an engineer, as I said, you can become a product manager later. But then it's harder as you go way later, but then you can switch. It's not too hard to switch. You can switch. Or if you want to do something else, you can become a data analyst. You can become data analyst. Like, if you want to change something else, you can. So there is that. So choose that field, and choose what you like at this point. And so coding or anything is a personality also. And again, there's some people think geeks can only, like, all the coding people were geeks. I was like, I partied like crazy. I drank until 5 in the morning and went to work at 7 and coded. So there are people
Oh,
like me who are yeah, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm geek. I cannot work in coding. Does not mean I don't socialize. I'm like a total opposite. So there are people like me too.
I'll tell you, I didn't expect that though.
Oh no. I'm multiple shades. Yeah, because I'm a very social person. I love people, as I said, right? The group mentality, and I party like crazy, like horribly crazy. So, but yeah, so if you're coder, it does not mean that you don't socialize. I think it's just, it's a myth, and the majority of them are like that. But you can be. So understand, for being a coder, you need to love sitting in one place, and then getting into the imagination of nothing real, like this, like software is nothing real, right? And the hardware is different, but and then getting into the imagination of that and enjoying it for yourself and your computer. If you are that person, yes, but you are that person, you love meeting people, you get energy from others, and you get ideas from others, then don't do it. Go do marketing, or go do like product management, day one, right? And recognize who you are, and you're that person who love to see the sky and be in the sky, then just go be a pilot, or a space, in the space industry. So just pick that. At this point, just think that way. Don't think too deep into, oh, well, will I be successful? Will I be Kalpana Chawla in the space, or will I be Elon Musk or Gates? Don't think too high. Just follow the next few years what you want to do, and then I think you'll gradually graduate. You'll gradually start learning things. You gradually realize something about yourself. Every year I've realized something about myself, which I didn't know the previous year. And and then I think when I became a mother, I literally met Kavitha 2.0. You know, I didn't know I had these many emotional ranges or these many the strength I had. Like, I had no idea. I think the life teaches you, and you all change. So just chill. Just don't think too much. Um, Pick something that you like in the field and then go with it. And life is a struggle, believe me. It's not going to be that easy, like for all of us, you know, your parents, even me, and you also will go through it. So because every time, especially if you're in tech, right, things change super fast. So if you're coming to tech, be prepared for such things, right? There's nothing that you learn today, it will stay same for next 10, 20 years. Everything changes in a year, so you have to keep learning, you have to keep updating, if you keep up to it. So that is something with tech, you have to get used to that. So think those things and then choose, and then again after that, as you know, the economy doesn't stay the same way, so everything changes, and every few years you have to rediscover yourself. So what you're doing today is just to discover yourself for the next 5 years. That's it.
Mm. Okay. And I know that you literally throughout this whole like experience, you've been telling me advice, but the final customary question that I ask is, what is your advice for the next generation of leaders? So what would you like summarize all of that into like one thing that you would advise to everyone?
I think, so this is what I tell my son, right? That it's like, you know, you guys don't have, most of you guys don't have to face the challenges most of others will face. You know, you are extremely privileged in America, extremely, right? So take advantage of the privilege. So when I feel like I was one of you, I think I would have put more time, or you know, or I would have uh, you know, I would have become more passionate about something and didn't worry about being failure, or didn't worry about, wouldn't fear about anything. um, so I think that is what you guys have to do. You have to learn to work a little harder, I feel like. You know, the American generation, I feel like you're so privileged that you forget the context of of hardship, forget the context of working hard, forget the context of dreaming big. You know, it's, and you're always feared of failing. Don't fear the fear of failing. You just need to have is the just to win. Win does not mean that you're competitive and you knock out the others or nothing like that. Win for your own self, win for your dreams. Like today I did something better than last month, you know, or in a year I learned something, I did something better than something, you know, year before, which I feared I couldn't do, you know, things like that. So just that drive to do things is what is important. And you know that I know you have so many things on your platter, you know, which we didn't have. We just had one or two. You have everything on your platter, you can pick whichever you want, and that gets confusing. I know, I do understand that part of you guys, right? That is a challenge for you guys. But it's just that pick one thing that you feel that, again, you know, as an Asian, make sure you get money out of it. You know, it's in demand. Right? Don't follow something that doesn't, you know, doesn't have demand, because money does give happiness in a half of the person, right? So pick something that, and just go with it. Don't be fearful, oh, whether what will fail, oh, what if it is not, who cares? uh, you know, the only thing that will prevail is this in throughout your life is the the desire to achieve something, the success. Like, you know, I'll tell you this, right? Like the, you know, sports, right? Olympic sports person,
Mm.
you know, that person comes back and they can, many people hire them for that. The reason is because once you know how to get success or taste of success, or how do you work hard towards one thing, you can apply the same thing to any field. Okay, so all you need to learn is to be disciplined about your dream, and put goals and achieve that goals, how much ever hard it is. Like, you know, it's harder, so you don't drop. No, that shouldn't be the case. So how
Yeah.
much ever harder, you achieve it, and then you go towards it. Once you know how to do it, it's a rinse and repeat process. So you just do the same thing at your work. If you want to change your field, you'll do the same thing. If you want to change a different job, you'll do the same thing. It's just a rinse and repeat. So that's it. Learn that. and everything else will be very easy in life, and learn to be resilient with all the failures or all the changes around us and the economy, and fine, whatever, you have to see so much in life, whatever, it'll work out. So that's it. Learn that 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 formula. Whatever, each one of you will have your own formula to work hard to achieve something, and then make it a formula, and that's a rinse and repeat every time. That's it.
Okay, that's a great advice. Thank you. Um, so this was a really enlightening experience, and I had such a great conversation with you. I'm very happy.
Same
Thank
here.
you so much again, and have a good one. Bye.